Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the mind of an Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And we're gonna get into thought forms. Because this is a little deeper than people think it is. This is powerful. As a spirit, you come from the zero circumference as your space. And then you go into certain realms of realities, currents, bodies of waters, to start to be aware of yourself and to create your mini version of that realm of reality. So this would take you into the one dimension, which is understanding the self or first appearance, being first aware. This is going into the second dimension, relating that to others, and it's in some type of way, and understanding opposition on the negative side, or understanding harmonious and relating and compromising for the positive attribute of the second dimension, which is duality. Then you get into the third dimension, right? You get born out into the surroundings that you are formulating yourself into. So you come out, and now you have your own surrounding. You know what I'm saying? You have your own 360, right? That's 3D. That's where you at right now. But then we get into something called 4D, the fourth dimension. And I'm not even including the fifth and sixth dimension right now. Just the fourth dimension, right? This is your ability to obtain information about the 360 you're in, about your surroundings. So once you are in a surroundings, you are in a 3D. So your ability to come up with a form of intellect, this is why it's attached to Mercury also, and Thoth, and how all y'all want to tie these things to. But for the most part, you're in a circumstance and situation where the moment you start to analyze and construct the information or that you're receiving in your surroundings, you are now tapped into the fourth dimension. So I don't care if you're a person who don't believe in dimensions or not. You need to know, as a brainwave, when we talk about alpha, gamma, delta, that's how big your brain is, or how much energy your brain is emitting. But you need to understand is, regardless of what alpha or delta or whatever kind of wave that you're in, you need to know that the moment you start to try to analyze or make sense out of something, or construct something in your mind, or metaphorically put something together, or a puzzle in your mind, you are tapping into the fourth dimension. So if you are a person who don't believe in the fourth dimension, then when you are tapping into the fourth dimension, you're going to be seen as very weak to a fourth dimensional being. And by you running around in the third dimension telling people that the fourth dimension don't exist, you're utilizing fourth dimensional attributes, and you're tapping into your fourth dimensional vessel in order to tell people that. AKA, you're coming up with a analyzation or something to make sense out of what you don't believe in. So you're utilizing your spaceship in the fourth dimension to create some negative motive in the third dimension. So you always will lack. You a person who always need a taxi cab or something like that. You ain't never got your own vehicle in the fourth dimension. So you're always lost and scattered. AKA, in the third dimension, you're always searching for new logic or scientific information to prove something wrong that you spiritually know is right. But since you can't physically prove it, you go against that nature every day. And this is how science was created. But for the most part, I'm not saying that in the aspect of this is something that's right or wrong. I'm saying this as the psychology of it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we're going to get into thought forms. And I'm going to go live tomorrow, because that's when the energies truly change. You know what I'm saying? It is not good to be forceful. It is not good to just want to go live or just do videos for the sake of it. You have to actually sit back and experience energies so you can actually know what the fuck you're talking about, and the actual manner of it being a real influence or being a real attraction. Because you need to understand that influence means that we are influid. So we're going to get into that the more we go into this video. But it wouldn't be smart for me to go, it's better for me to go live tomorrow, because that's when we actually have new energies that can affect us in a way that similar information won't be kicked off out of my mouth. So for an example, the moon and Mercury is going into Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, because they both have late degrees of Libra. So the moon and Mercury will be going into Scorpio. So we already know Jupiter is already there and things of that nature. So this is putting us in a circumstance, in a situation where we're going to It's going to be dark. But before I start to break down that energy, that's going to be for tomorrow. Because that's when it is actually a be here. And then I will actually receive a shape and form to be able to logically or informative wise put it out to y'all. Put it out for y'all. See what I'm saying? Now, let's get into thought forms, right? Now, we have to be clear on things, right? We have to be clear on things when we talk about thought forms, right? Because people are not understanding things based upon what they are indoctrinated in. So before we even get into anything, you need to understand that thoughts in itself, the realm of reality of thoughts, you need to know that's a realm outside of you. Before you was even born, the ability of thoughts or thinking was here. So you need to understand that first and foremost. So when I say things like thoughts are not yours, you need to understand that psychologically, your thoughts are not yours. Now, what become your thoughts is what we're going to get into. Because you're in the realm that you're receiving. So once you receive, it goes through your system and you construct it through all your systems, organisms, solar systems and shit. And then that's when you construct a form out of the energy signature that you have just received. So check this out. Now look at it like you're tapping into a radio station, or you're tapping in, or you're going to a certain beach and you're going into a certain body of water, right? This will be a frequency. The way that radio station play, whatever the radio station is, whether it's R&B and hip hop, rock and roll, country, jazz, that will be the vibration of that frequency. So the radio station will be the vibration, but the radio itself will be the frequency. So same way if you was going to a body of water, whatever beach, whatever body of water it is, whatever ocean it is, will be the frequency. The current or the wave and the direction of the wave will be the vibration of that frequency. So let's break this down to third dimensional terms, right? The thoughts, the ideas that's on your mind, or the things that you're into and the things that you resonate with based upon natural selection, just you experiencing life, you're growing up into age, experiencing life, right? That automatically taps you into a frequency because you're receiving. So once you're receiving, because you're experiencing, that's just another word for receiving here, perceiving. That's it. So when you're receiving, perceiving, you are experiencing. So you start to experience things that you like and dislike, aka resonate, natural selection. Based upon what you move through, you start to see what you like and don't like, right? Now, for the most part, you start to understand your frequency. Now, that is the frequency of it. Thoughts, ideas. And what you are experiencing, the initial experience. Now, how the experience make you feel is the vibration of that frequency. So like I said, you're in third dimensional terms, when you just are experiencing, you're receiving. And what are you receiving? Thought waves, forms, ideas, concepts that's just floating around in the space and location that you are in. Otherwise, everybody will just be caveman and cavewoman if you're not understanding what I'm saying right now. For you to be understanding what I'm saying, you have to agree to the terms and conditions that you are experiencing something, and that means you must be receiving something. So even if it's something that's unseen, you need to know is you're still receiving something. There's a realm out here that's unseen, third dimensional wise. You need to know that. You can't be going against that because you will be lost. Now, whether you want to call it the spirit realm, the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, the higher realms, whatever you want to call it, you need to know that there's another realm out there. And you go there every time when you go to sleep. Now, check this out. Now, as you tap into a frequency, aka you are experiencing, how these experiences make you feel, that's the vibration you start to create. You know what I'm saying? So that lets you know how you're vibing. So how you vibe within these frequencies, That's how a fourth, fifth, or sixth dimensional being will lay it out for you. And that's how I would know. So I would look at the type of ideas and the shit that come out of your mouth, and then I could automatically tell the shit that you be vibrating in. But let's get back to explaining this video. So, like I said, you step into a frequency when you're receiving, and then whatever you're receiving, the way it make you feel, that's going to let you start constructing your vibe and your vibration. And then with those two coming together, you start to create an energy. Now you have an energetic force field within these spaces and locations, aka these situations and scenarios and people, places, and things that you are obliging your energy with. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. So based upon your experiences, you're in a certain frequency. So let's get back to this. Your thoughts are not yours. Let's get into that. So why you be like, I just caught a thought. I caught that. You caught that, right? Because you was in the right space, right state of being, right frequency in order to catch what you was receiving or perceiving. So based upon your state of being, if it's high, low, middle, or whatever you're at in the world, that's going to be the information you're receiving. So if you're always a person who's vibrating low, guess what ideas that's always going to be on your mind. So check this out. Once you're in a certain frequency, you're going to be receiving, experiencing thought forms that have already been put out in that frequency. AKA, when you turn on a radio station, if it's hip-hop, R&B, you're going to be listening to music and songs that correlate to R&B and hip-hop. AKA, if you was at a body of water or a beach, right? You're going to be experiencing the current of that beach. So for the most part, now, when you're thinking, when you're sitting back or meditating or just experiencing, depending on your state of being, you're going to be receiving the thoughts or the concepts and ideas from all the different species and beings who are vibrating on that same frequency, aka having the same thoughts or wondering about the same thing or having a similar imaginations, aka it doesn't matter if these people or animals or species you know or not. It could be a being from a whole nother constellation in existence. If y'all vibrating on the same frequency, y'all still going to be bouncing thoughts off each other, right? So once you get a pre-existent experience, it goes through your system, then you get to construct if it resonate with you or not. Then once you do that, that's when it becomes your thought. And then that thought or feeling and emotion gets pushed out from you into the frequency that you was in. And now, whatever other species or being, regardless of where they at, another constellation or even here, they're going to be able to receive that thought and information also if they're vibrating on that same frequency vibration. So this is how we all got telepathy skills. Whatever the fuck y'all call it. We all got telekinesis. We all can communicate without satellites. We all can communicate with races outside of us. So you need to understand that. So when you're receiving thoughts, it may not, if you're vibrating very low, a lot of times you're receiving frequency vibrations from people who are around you and people, places, and things you have manifested. But if you vibrating high, you're going to be receiving frequency vibrations and thought patterns and concepts from beings of whatever level of frequency you're vibrating in. And you're going to know how high or how low or how mid-range it is based upon when you start to express it externally in the yang realm. AKA start to verbally express it, start to do things or get around people, places, and things that's dealing with the same energy signature. And how well you are able to come across whatever what was on your mind or on your heart. That's going to tell you how high or how low you was vibrating. If it never makes sense to anybody, that lets you know you was vibrating low. If the shit is compelling and it makes sense and it can attract attention, then that lets you know you was vibrating high. Now, people be in fucked up state of beings. So you could get a motherfucker whose spirit vibrating very high, but in a fucked up state of being, or their state of being is in a low vibrational area in space, aka their location. So this is a person who's high spirited and can get a lot of people to do what they need them to do, but they're doing it in a low vibrational area, aka they having people do a bunch of negative shit. You see what I'm saying? So you have to keep, it's shit tricky. Shit is tricky. But let's get into thought forms. It's like, damn, it's so much shit I just had to break down. We ain't even actually get into the video. Ooh. Straight up 100% lemon juice. Throw some little sea salt in that motherfucker. Shit, we ready to go. You know what I'm saying? That's like my snack. My lunch is cranberry juice. But check this out. Now, when we get to the circumstance and situation of thought forms, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, this plays out as your cloud. You see what I'm saying? It's your cloud. Now, depending on how much attention and how much passion and how much spirit of yourself that you put in that cloud can become a dense version, and it can become a shape and form, and it can become a light body, and it can emit light, and it can shine. And whatever realm of reality of existence is up under that will be able to see that as a star. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, you being in the 3rd dimension now, this is just a light body, a spaceship that you are creating for yourself. You see what I'm saying? To be able to die and to be born in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension in that ball of information. So whatever being you go into that you resonate with, you will be able to manifest yourself 3D wise, well 6D wise in that realm, as the ball of that information. So if the information that you've been putting in it in this lifetime is positive, successful, regardless of the illusion in front of you that's trying to make you think it ain't successful, the more you're going to be and you're going to experience that manifestation. If y'all get what I'm saying, this shit is real. Now look, check this out. That's why if you just live every day the way you live, you ain't got to worry about being scared and worrying when you die. Because when you die, you just know you finna go somewhere better off the bat, period. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be like, damn, good riddance. Good riddance. I feel sorry for y'all. Don't feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for y'all. That's how your spirit going to be like. I'm telling you, this shit is real. You caring about family and shit like that and friends and shit, not knowing that if you create a positive nature right now, you're going to be going to your best friends, your best family ever. You ain't even going to remember this shit down here. This is another video, man. Like, damn, this is another video. But check this out. As a thought form, right? We create these thought forms, so it's your cloud. Now, check this out. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, that's you. But in the 3rd dimension, it's just a concept and idea. So this is how stars are born, because you are a star. So this is how stars are born at its most early stage. When it's going through the 4th dimensional aspect, then needing to find a mommy. In the 2-dimensional, that will be in that aspect, that would be the 5th dimension. Then it will come out in the 6th dimension. That will be how you came out in the 3rd dimension here. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, check this out. Now, as far as the thought form, say in the 3rd dimension, right? All y'all vibrating on the same frequency, right? Based upon another nigga or another bitch or spirit that came here in the body. So now y'all all agree on a certain idea or concept. So y'all all agree on a certain thought form. Now check this out. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, that's a whole bunch of clouds coming together. Now, what happens when you see that in the 3rd dimension? It rains. So, and it creates water puddles and oceans and things of that nature that y'all see today. So check this out. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, 3rd dimensional wise, when y'all all agree on a concept and idea, y'all created a body of water. Y'all created a current. And that body of water is like a conscious wave. So it's an influence. So all of y'all created a big ass ocean when y'all all agree on a certain concept and idea. So y'all all agree on a body. Y'all created a body 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise. Like a body of water. So this is why it plays out as influence. This is why everybody on earth try to take their ideas and concepts and create an influence for others. Try to be influential in some type of way. It's your spirit is trying to let you know something. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, that's like influence. So because we're in fluid. So when it's a large amount of clouds coming together to create an ocean, that's a current. So when you're in fluence, it's like fluid. So in the 3rd dimension, y'all just see it as influence because y'all so deep in the ocean. Y'all deep in the ocean. Y'all like fish. Y'all need to know that. But It plays out as influence, a conscious wave, a wave of conscious, a trend or a way of thinking that everybody can agree on. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. But people still have their own subconscious, subconscious reality in it. So that's what you need to still understand. But look, once you put yourself in that circumstance or situation, you need to know thought forms, right? When you create a thought form, that's your vehicle. But listen, you're not in that realm yet. So your vehicle can be used by a being in that realm. So now look at it like this. When y'all all, so this is how people get possessed. When you vibrate on a certain frequency, create a thought form, and then a spirit that resonate, aka a lot of y'all who get possessed, or a lot of y'all who worship certain things, this become y'all kids. So y'all be giving birth to y'all gods or to the things y'all worship. So if you got a child that get on your motherfucking nerves and you hate your goddamn child, you need to reconsider what the fuck you was thinking and what was on your mind before you was having sex and with the constant habits that you was having. Because you have been created that thought form, and your child as a spirit had been resonated with that energy, aka went into that vessel to experience life. And the more that you wasn't being like, man, fuck that thought or whatever like that, but you ain't wash away nothing, you ain't create nothing new, you ain't do no revelation, you actually created that to be a habit. You actually created that on your Eve. You actually put that on your right side subconscious right brain. You actually let that conscious being get lost in your world, in your universe, by you putting it in the right realm, and the feelings and emotions, aka you got attached to that thought form, aka you got attached to a mini man and woman, a mini flesh fluid, a mini cloud, a mini form, a mini shape. You created that and started caring for it and stuff like that. And then the spirit that went in it to be like, okay, I'm me now, I have a life. Now it could go into all your fluids and come out into the realm of reality that you was in. But you need to know you created the vehicle, you created the vessel. That's what we do. We create shapes and forms. We create little bodies. Now a spirit got to go into it to give it life. This is why your dreams have its own life. This is why concepts have a life of their own. Why do you think your spirits say that? Because it's a spirit creating it. So for an example, when y'all all agree on a thought form in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, y'all all created a big ass body. Y'all created a big ass person, a big ass current, a big ass star, a big ass influence, a big ass concept, a big ass imagination, a big ass world, a big ass realm of reality, whatever the fuck y'all want to call it in the 3rd dimension. That's what y'all created. Now look. The more energy, the more people, the more thought forms, the more clouds that's put on it, the bigger that body of water is, the bigger that star is. Now, guess what the fuck's gonna happen, right? If you get a big ass one that just take up a whole bunch of space, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional wise, and it's a big ass light, guess what's gonna happen? A 7th, 8th, and 9th dimensional spirit gonna be like, God damn, this look like something I can hop into and jump into that motherfucker, and now that motherfucker have a life. Now that vehicle, that big ass body, that current, that star is a motherfucking person now. A spirit then jumped into it and now can experience the life of the information that y'all all created from a thought form. Now that spirit is awake. The spirit went into that body, went into that current, went into that wave, went into that frequency vibration, went into that being that y'all all created, went into that ocean, and came from the realm that we all naturally come from, the 0-9 circumference this space spirit, right? Went in that motherfucker and woke up. Woke up. I'm alive. Start utilizing masculine energy, aka giving off and shit like that. Like, and then once it be like, I'm me, once it start to realize like, I'm me, all y'all little thought forms and y'all like blood cells within that now. So now the more that y'all understand y'all concept, the more that this being is realizing itself and realizing all its abilities. But its abilities is all the shit y'all created. Do you get it? So now this being running around in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension now like, nigga, I'm the shit. I'm the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then y'all not understanding that y'all getting lost into the concept of really that's a creation y'all created. And a spirit, whether you want to kill that being or keep that being alive, a spirit don't die. your spirit ain't gonna die. You need to understand this is what you doing. Don't you know this is what you doing? When y'all talk about cell life, y'all need to understand that the Bible and all that is just an astrology book, but not even astrology how y'all trying to break it down. You need to understand it's breaking down Aries, the ram, and all that. Y'all lived as blood cells in each of these motherfucking animals. But each of these animals were blood cells in this motherfucker being that y'all live in. So when y'all hear things like we live through him or through it or something like that, that's your spirit trying to tell you live through a person. So when you live in through a person, like when you was living through a person before you got born. So that's still telling you we need to understand our cells, our jails, our hells. You know what I'm saying? So not the concept of how y'all trying to break it out. So you need to understand, like when we talk about Jesus and all that, it's really like they're really trying to explain. They get lost, but they're really trying to explain that it's like just an ancestor. You know what I'm saying? It's just an ancestor. And that was one of the first blood cells that reached the motherfucking egg. And reaching the egg is nothing more or nothing less but being smart, being wise, and being knowledgeable, and being able to have enough spirit to be remembered. Right? So that's an example that you could pinpoint to a person who have reached the egg. The moment you die, get killed, and you're long lost and forgotten, and only people who remember you is your family and friends, and then they ain't really shit, that's when you know you ain't reached no egg. Your ass coming back here and to repeat something to learn how to reach a motherfucking egg. But for the most part, you coming back in Abram's bosom and Sheol and shit like that. Coming back to the gut and the stomach. You ain't going to somebody else in another round, 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. You coming back to the 3rd dimension because you ain't even learn how to create your shapes and forms and get the rings and gems to even be born from a 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional person. So you need to know, you need to understand in the Bible, all the way get to the go find the water bear, the guy with the water bear, all the way till it get to go see with the 2 fish. All it's telling you is when we got to the 2 fish, y'all all was the blood cells creating the feet of this person we was in. You know what I'm saying? Because this person we was in probably wasn't even a land being yet. Probably was still a water being. You know what I'm saying? It's like, see, y'all need to understand, like, ooh, I don't want to go too far into that. But it's things y'all need to really understand about the Bible. So it's breaking down Virgo and going all the way around. And it's starting at Virgo and it's going on. It only starts at Virgo even when we talk about this being we are in now. The civilization in the 2,000 years before this 2,000 year was another being. As blood cells, y'all was living in another being. You see what I'm saying? And as a spirit, once that shed, the shapes and forms and fluids and cells that you create, once that shed, your spirit go through the astral travel and do that again and somewhere else into another being that did that predated you. You know what I'm saying? So you need to understand, even when y'all talk about hell and things of that nature, really, hell is just a situation when your spirit is in a routine or a pattern or a circumstance over and over and over again. To the point that these experiences cause wear and tear and cause you to be tired. This concept of hell that y'all got burning in fire and all that shit, which it is that spiritually, but I'm talking about this concept that y'all got, that where y'all think y'all going. This is a spirit that jumped into a being that created the Christianity, the Christianity denomination, the whole Christianity, and I think that's it. And it was a evil spirit that jumped into a being to live out and to create some type of indoctrination of hell being some type of physical place, right? Which they really was talking about the seasons, but you got a bunch of beings who want to lose people and put fear and make people lost into their own right side of their body, emotions and feelings and subconscious realm, so they'll be damned by damnation. And that's how this evil spirit can drink. You know what I'm saying? But if a spirit is doing that to you and making you use your right brain and subconscious realm to fear certain things that you do not understand logically, and it's giving you indoctrinations, and it's giving you logic to make you think you understand it logically, aka scriptures and shit like that, then this is the utmost lostness, and you need to know that is a demon. That is a spirit you're following. You see what I'm saying? Because that hell concept came later on to make y'all think that it was a physical place and things of that nature, and it's not that. So y'all need to understand that also. It's not even looked at in the way that y'all are trying to look at. And that came later on with some Christian spirit. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever that motherfucker is, but that motherfucker ain't nice. And so it make everybody who follow that concept, that who swim in that water, push out that concept. Push out you going to hell in that kind of fashion. Like a physical place. Like when you die here, you're gonna go to another physical place in hell, which is not seen that way. It's just seen as routine and pattern. Now you could keep creating lives for yourself like that, but for the most part, don't listen to nobody saying that your way and your concept of looking at life and God is the reason why you're going to hell. That person is going to hell. You need to understand that, because their concept of that is the creation of that. So that's the pool that they are in. So they're already in hell. So that's how they see the world. So they try to push that off to others, because that's where they're already at, and that's where they're going when they die. You know what I'm saying? And they're scared. So they push that off to others and create illusions to make them feel comfortable, like that ain't where they're going. Otherwise, that wouldn't be constantly on their head, because that's the shape and form that they're creating for themselves. So religious people don't even be knowing what they actually doing to themselves. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. But that's why I'm here, man. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air. Archangel Uriel.